Welcome to this week's episode of the Elite Market Money Update. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and I'm joined by Patrick Marcel. He is CEO and founder of the Elite Retirement Group. Patrick, it's always a treat to be with you. How are you doing this week?
Fabulous. Love being here. Love being here with you. We always have so much fun.
We do. We have a great time, and we cover so much valuable information for our viewers at home. I know you've been really busy meeting with folks who've been calling in from the television show, and that's awesome that you're able to serve more people.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, and it's awesome. I just love helping people out.
I know you do. Well, today we are going to be talking about retirement, yay or nay. So what we mean by that is a lot of folks now are considering delaying their retirement. A lot of people are wanting to continue working beyond what has been historically the traditional retirement age. So we're going to unpack that a little bit today and talk about some of the pros and cons of retiring. So first up, Patrick, when folks are wanting to continue working, how often are you seeing that? And what are some of the reasons why folks are maybe delaying retirement versus what past generations did?
Yeah, I think that delaying retirement, is it delaying retirement though?
Well, that's a good point.
Because I think people still go into retirement, but retirement looks completely different.
Correct.
So when my grandfather retired, this was his routine. He'd get up at 4:30 in the morning, no longer working, and he'd have his coffee, he'd have a banana, he'd do something, put around the house. He had a workshop out in the garage. He'd go work in the garage for a while.
Right.
Come on in, get ready in the evening, have dinner at 3:30, and then he would watch the Wheel of Fortune and go to bed.
Wow.
So that was for him. He really enjoyed that because he worked very hard.
Right.
And I think lifestyle was very different, for the other generations before us. And now we're seeing folks that are saying, hey, maybe I didn't have as physically abusive, if you will, work environment.
Physically demanding, right, as a job, right?
just being hard on the body type of thing. And now more of a, okay, I use my mind and I've been engaged. And now when I retire, it gives me time and opportunity to go do the things I want to do and enjoy. But then on the flip side, I still want to feel part of something bigger than myself.
Yes.
I think, even for my wife and I, we've talked about this. And right now, Alyssa works probably 12 to 15 hours for us during the week. She spends a lot of time training the puppies. And if you come to our office and you like dogs, you get to see our puppies. They're always there, which is nice. Yep. But she wants to do something more. So we've looked at doing some sort of foundation or something like that. And I think that's where a lot of retirees are going nowadays. They retire. They maybe take longer trips, but then they're engaged in something else, whether it's a charity or volunteering or maybe even just another job, because they still want to feel connected.
Yes.
They still want to feel like they're doing something, and it's just different. I think the other part is we've talked about this before about longevity. And the fact that our retirement could last 30 or more years, and if we're really just relaxing for 30 years, it gets boring pretty fast. Now, I know my dad wouldn't buy into this, but I told Dad, I said, you may want to do something because you can't fish and hunt every day. Now, he would say, yeah, I can.
Right.
That's fine. Dad
He's
likes
like,
to fish
watch me, right?
Right. But even he's at the point, too, where he wants to be part of something bigger. He wants to be involved in something. And that's kind of why Mom worked with us for as long as she did, because she likes feeling that sense of togetherness, being part of something. So it's just changed, and I think it's really neat.
Right. It's that sense of contribution, right? And I think, I know I meet and talk with a lot of people who say, when it really comes down to it, they feel like if they retire, they're losing their identity, because for so long their identity has been wrapped up in what they've done for a living. And so how much does that conversation come into play when folks come in and are trying to decide, okay, when should I retire?
Actually, it's a really, really important part of the process is that when you come in and we talk about what your dreams are for retirement, it's not just the numbers. It's not the data. That's very important.
For sure.
But it's also the conversation about what do you want to do and how do you want to do it? And there's so many times that folks will, maybe they get involved in their children's business or help out here or there. It's huge because one of the things that we talk about is when you first retire, there's this month or two, it feels like vacation. You're like, woohoo,
Right.
I can do whatever I want to do.
Exactly.
This is great. I don't have to get dressed until noon. It's fantastic. But then all of a sudden the realization hits. You're like, well, I'm not on vacation anymore. I'm actually really, really tired.
Right.
And now I need to do something.
Yes.
Sometimes we get our list to do from our family. There's plenty of projects to do. And I always say retirees are the busiest people I know.
Yes.
But I think that's a good thing. I really do. I think it's a good thing to stay active. You might not be able to do it at the same pace you did before.
Sure.
But definitely that's a huge part of the retirement plan overall. And that's something that we can't tell folks how to do that. But we like to get them thinking about that.
Right.
How will that play into your retirement picture? What do you want to? There isn't really a right or wrong answer. Some people might say, I'm just going to spend time with my grandkids and I'm going to love it. Great. That's fantastic. Some people, they want to do more. And there's no wrong answer. It's just where you feel your home at, because this could be a very, very long period of your life. And we just want to make sure you're getting it right.
So what are some factors that folks need to take into consideration when they're trying to make this all-important decision of not only when should I retire, but should I transition into retirement, maybe work part-time, right? Because you don't have to necessarily just cut cold turkey depending on your situation of one day you're working and the next day you're not. So what are some factors people need to take into consideration from a retirement planning perspective on when they should actually retire?
Well, one of the things that we do really factor into the plan overall is if somebody feels like maybe they want to continue to work in retirement, what will your current employer allow you to do? Maybe they'll let you work part-time. Another really huge thing is that what if you were going to retire before 65, can you still work for that employer and have maybe health insurance?
Right.
Or have some other benefits on a part-time basis? Can you work remotely? That's become a much, much bigger thing. So those are all things that are really important to factor into the retirement decision. And we just get people thinking about that. And there's a lot of times, I'll say, hey, what does your employer think about you retiring? Maybe they'll allow you to do something. One of my clients that he does rods, like he's amazing. Fishing rods, he repairs them, and he does custom fishing rods. He does incredible work. But the company he used to work for, they're like, hey, can you work a little bit for us here and there? And they love having him work part-time. And it really works very, very well for him. So I think that's a really big part of it. And, that's a big reason why we developed this retirement roadmap. We call it the memories and milestones, because there's certain milestones you're going to reach along the way that we need to plan for. But it's about creating the memories as you go along, about the friendships. When my father retired, he didn't realize what a social guy he was. And it was actually pretty hard for him at first, because he didn't have this network of friends to talk to every day about fishing or about whatever he wanted to talk to. So now he had to create this new network. And he actually ended up creating the new network, but it was with the same friends, just a different place.
Got it.
And so, but it's things that you just maybe don't necessarily think about when you're going to retire. And that's why that whole Memories and Milestones roadmap, we really put that together so that we can try to take care of not only the data, but then what about the individual pieces? That timeline of events is such an important piece of that retirement roadmap. And it really does such a good job of helping people have a complete picture of the things they need to do and prepare for retirement. So, today we just want to make that offer again, that if you'd like to have your complimentary retirement roadmap created just for you with our team of CFAs and CFPs, Chartered Financial Analysts and Certified Financial Planners, just give us a call at 833-856-1392. And the first 10 callers, we're going to go ahead and do that complimentary for you, no strings attached. So again, our number is 833-856-1392.
Patrick, thank you so much. And to our viewers at home, again, that number to call to get your complimentary Memories and Milestones retirement roadmap. Just call the number on the bottom of your screen, 833-856-1392. You can also take out your smartphone, use the camera icon. You can scan that QR code on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That will take you to a landing page that will allow you to set up your appointment as well and be one of the next 10 people who can come in and meet with Patrick and get this complimentary written plan for yourself. Maybe you're sitting at home and you're going, wow, this all sounds great. Maybe you want to continue working, but maybe you're wondering, can I retire sooner than I thought? When we come back, we'll have Patrick tackle that question for you. More after this.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to the Elite Money Market Update. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, here with Patrick Marcel, CEO and founder of Elite Retirement Group. Patrick, we're talking today about all things retirement yay or nay. You know, some folks are really excited to retire. Some folks want to phase into that next season of their life gradually. But some folks watching there today might be thinking, gosh, I am just so tired of working. I want to retire, but I know that I hear a lot of people say, I feel like I'm going to have to work forever. So I'm just curious, do you have any stories or examples of people who've maybe come in thinking that they have to continue working well beyond when they want to, and yet they're surprised to find out when they actually sit down, look at their own memories and milestone plan that they can retire sooner?
Yeah, so one of the neat things that we do in the process is after I gather all the data and I start putting the plan together, I'll have folks come back in and we'll just look at things digitally, because then we can still change stuff pretty easy. I had a lady come in recently that she's been a teacher for quite a while, and she's like, yeah, she said, it's getting tougher, it's getting hard. And I, you know, teachers are amazing. They just, all the things they do.
I'm married to one. Yes, teachers are amazing.
Teachers are incredible. And, you know, I was going through the numbers with her and I said, you know, actually, I don't know why you'd work beyond this year. She kind of looked at me and I said, well, let me show you. And I just went over the numbers that she had for her retirement, and looking at, they have this thing that they can have a Social Security accelerator on the retirement plan. So I said, well, if you pull your Social Security retirement accelerator now, when you get to the point where you're actually going to switch over to Social Security, and I did the numbers quick, I like spreadsheets. So I had a little spreadsheet. I said, if you wait a year, you'll get this much. If you go now, you'll get this much. She's like, yeah, why would I continue to work? You know, so it was really neat to get her to realize that, hey, you could actually pull the plug now, because she was thinking at least another 2 years.
Wow.
And she also teaches tennis, which is really cool. And she's, you know, she likes being very involved, but I think teaching, it takes a lot out of you.
It takes a toll, for sure.
It does. I mean, you have a lot to deal with. You know, I love teaching. We're teaching adults, though, a lot of times. So a lot of the things we do from a class standpoint, educational standpoint in the community, we're doing a lot of the adult educational things.
Yes.
So we do at the university, we do at the library, stuff like that. I really enjoy that, but doing it every day and then, you know, doing a lesson plan constantly, just all the stuff, it's a lot of work for sure. So I give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, to that end, with financial education, I mean, that's our heartbeat, that's our passion, because these things aren't taught in schools, right? I mean, we aren't given that solid foundation to know some of these basic things that set us up for success throughout our adult lives, but then certainly in retirement.
Yeah, so one of the things we've done as an organization is we work with the Christian Academy in Stevens Point, and actually we sponsor their financial literacy program. So we provide materials to the teachers and to the students so that they can help the students understand and learn about their finances so that they can be better consumers when they grow up. The other thing that we do, which I think is really important when it comes to the education standpoint, not only just the events that we do at the library and the university, is that we actually go in, and my brother and I have done this a few times, where the junior high, DC Everest Junior High, they'll have an investment class. So we'll go in and we'll just take some of our time to talk to the kids and just really help them get a good idea about, you know, some of the finance stuff. So we try to work with local schools. I think that's real important.
It is.
That, you know, I feel like I've been very, very blessed in my life, that God has given me a lot of great opportunity to do tremendous things. And now, you know, I have to really look at how can I give back? How do I put back into the community? And being a scout myself and teaching, you know, there's a financial merit badge, you know, personal finance, which I taught that for a while too.
That's awesome.
But it's just, what can we do to give back? And it's real important, because we talked before about self-fulfillment, when you retire. But I think as life in general is that self-fulfillment of what can I do for somebody else? How can I help somebody else? So we really enjoy doing that kind of thing. And I just, I wish there was more of it. And we're always looking to partner up with folks that would love to have us help with them and getting some curriculum down. And that's part of one of my passions too, is I'm actually getting a degree in education. So I kind of understand what goes into that a little bit. It's a lot of work, but it's real important for sure.
For sure. Well, and I think you're speaking to the whole premise that a lot of people, they believe that we're blessed to be a blessing. And when you've worked so hard your whole life and you've saved up, what is the situation for folks who maybe have some extra? They want to really get into legacy planning and be able to leave a legacy behind, not just enjoy their retirement years for themselves and their loved ones, but really leave a legacy that lives beyond them.
Yeah, it's so interesting. That whole legacy concept is a really neat idea. But the thing I notice is that parents always, they're like, we want to get stuff to our kids. We want to, do what, help them out or whatever. And so many of the kids are like, Mom and Dad, just spend the money. Just you enjoy it, so you have this kind of back and forth. But there's absolutely tremendous things that we can do to help prepare for a legacy, and there's very, very efficient ways to do it. So one of the things we want to look at is how do we get things tax efficiently to our beneficiaries? One of the big things that's come out in the last few years is that we no longer can do stretch IRAs. So now what we need to do is that IRA or Roth IRA, that money needs to come out in 10 years. So do you take it all at one time? Do you spread it out? It's
Meaning
really
if someone inherits an IRA
Right.
from a loved one who's passed away, they have to distribute that money over a 10-year period.
Yep. Unless you're a spouse or you're within 10 years of age, then outside of that, you have to take that money out, where before you could spread it over your entire lifetime.
Right.
So this is now a different conversation, because if we're looking at legacy, what would you rather pass on? Money that's tax-free forever, or money that somebody's going to have to pay taxes on.
Right.
And that's a really big game changer. So we just really look at it from a tax standpoint, and we say, what can we do to help prepare your estate for the monies that you won't use, or you don't end up using, or you want to leave to your children, or a charity even? How do we get that to them, either now or in the future? One of the things we've been working with folks quite a bit is giving assets or giving money to charities. I was on the board of directors for the Epilepsy Foundation for some time. I enjoyed it, near and dear to our hearts, with my daughter Haley, and just all the amazing people there and all the wonderful things that we do. But being on the finance committee, there's, how do you receive gifts? What's the best kind of gift to give? And working with a financial professional, they can really help you figure out what is the best way to get that to you. Another charity I've been working with, or we started doing some work on, is the Honor Flight. So in central Wisconsin, Honor Flight, where we're flying veterans out to Washington, D.C.
Awesome.
I mean, that's incredible. It really is amazing. And but that's all part of the plan, right? So if we're going to figure out, we want to do these things, and legacy is a big part of the retirement roadmap as well. We try to put it all together. There's a lot of information in there.
A lot of pieces that go into it,
Yep,
right?
and we kind of break it down so you're not getting it all at one time. But we're going to break that down, get you the information that you need so that hey, if I want to gift a charity, what's the best way to do that? Can I just take and gift a stock, or can I gift, what's the best way to do it? That's really kind of what we focus on as well, and drawing on our experience, our background, we're drawing on the charter financial analysts and the CFPs, just making sure that they've got things going. And folks, if you want to make sure that, and that's something that's important to you, but you want to make sure you have a plan for that, pick up that phone, give us a call at 833-856-1392. We'd be more than happy to sit down with you, go over the plan with you. And as we said before, the first 10 folks that give us a call, we'll do that for you, complimentary, no strings attached, because we feel it's that important that you have a game plan in place for yourself, for your retirement, and all the different pieces that go with us. So again, our number is 833-856-1392.
Patrick, thank you again. And to our viewers at home, that number to call, 833-856-1392, to get your complimentary memories and milestones. I always have to check my language of that. Memories and milestones retirement roadmap that Patrick and his team will put together for you. We encourage you, don't wait. If you have questions, this is why they're here. They would love to link arms with you and help you. So you can call that number, or take out your smartphone, scan that QR code on the bottom of your screen. That will get you connected to be able to set up your appointment for the next 10 callers. We have more to talk about retirement, yay or nay, when we come back.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
Welcome back to the Elite Money Market Update. I'm Kristen Oakley here with Patrick Marcel from the Elite Retirement Group. Patrick, we've been talking about so many important things that folks need to take into consideration when they're deciding when to retire and when the right time is to make that transition. And it is a transition, as we've talked about today. I'm curious, though, one of the things I think folks have a lot of questions about is Social Security and how their Social Security benefit could be impacted if they choose to continue working even beyond their full retirement age. So I'm just curious, what would you say to someone who comes in who has these types of questions? What kind of pieces of information do you need to know to help them understand how their Social Security benefit will be impacted?
Yeah, I think one of the big things that you kind of hit on a little bit is working beyond your full retirement age. You know, people that typically want to work longer by choice.
Right.
It's a passion. So they're making money, and it's not necessarily so much about the money as it is about what they do.
Right.
And then, yeah, that can have a pretty big impact on their Social Security and what's taxable and what's not. That's part of this whole income planning, and we've talked in other episodes about the tax what-if software we use. So I love being able to put somebody's tax information in from last year and then say, okay, well, what does your income you think will look like this year? And then we can go in there, we can see how much of your Social Security will be taxed. Maybe none, but maybe up to 85% of your Social Security could be taxable.
Right, which a lot of people aren't aware of.
Right, right. And it's nice to be able to have, I can take and isolate a couple cells and say, oh, by the way, if you make this much, you're going to pay this much in tax on your Social Security. And a lot of times people are like, oh, I didn't know that. Another thing people don't always know is on the state side, the state of Wisconsin doesn't tax your Social Security. So it's only on the federal side. So we have really one side to worry about. But you know, I was thinking the other day we had somebody come in and they were talking about, well, Patrick, I'm going to work until June, you know, and now is that going to make my Social Security taxable? Is it going to impact my benefits? And I said, well, not if you draw Social Security after you retire. So what you make up to that during that year doesn't really matter. It's what matters is once you start drawing the benefit. So working with them to help understand that concept, because yes, I think Social Security office does a good job. They really are very helpful, but they don't always have time to explain all the ins and outs, and they're really not there for advice. Well,
right, because they're allowed to give you information, but they're actually not allowed to give you personalized advice based on your individual situation. That's a really important distinction.
Yep, and that's why, again, we look at it as a partnership. They're there to help you get the benefit, but we're there to help you to draw it correctly and do it correctly.
Right.
And I think when we see people that get a little bit older and they're working maybe past their full retirement age, some of the reasons why they are going to draw while they're still working is because of the fear of missing out. So they're thinking, well, if I don't take it now, I'm going to miss out on all this because it might go away. I just heard in the news that it's going to end in 2036 or whatever they say that day.
Better get as much as I can right now, right?
Right, exactly. And I always say it's possible. There's nothing that's impossible.
Right.
But what administration is going to want to be that administration that says you don't get any more?
Right.
You know, I don't know that that's very reasonable. One of the most popular ideas right now is reducing or eliminating benefits for people who are further out from retirement. You know, you're 40 years old. Now you're not, but you're like 29,
I
right?
wish, but
yeah,
no.
Right. But you know, so you retire, somebody that's further away, 20, 30 years from retirement, they say, you know what, you're not going to get any Social Security, just so you know. But you have time to plan for it.
Right.
Something will have to change. It probably
sure.
won't change for those that are retiring now, or close to retirement, and or pulling Social Security out from under you during retirement. Again, I always say anything can happen. We plan and hope for the best, right? But sometimes we just have to prepare for the worst. I would say, though, for most people when we're working with them, the really big thing is like, how long can I work? When should I draw Social Security? The year that I retire, if I'm retiring middle of the year, does that impact taxability of the Social Security? And those are things that we focus on and work with our clients on to help answer those questions. And we've talked about this a bunch. It's so individual. It's so unique. You know, you might be sitting out there going, well, I don't know if this really pertains to me, or my situations may be different. Exactly, it is.
That's the point.
Yeah, and actually for us, we actually enjoy it because it's not the same thing every day. I worked in a factory while I was going to school full time, and you know what? It was the same thing every day. I go in, I run parts, I do the same thing. That's the same thing every day. I love this because it's not the same thing every day. And that's why we're so passionate about our Memories and Milestones roadmap, is that we just love putting together a plan for folks so that we know that we're providing something of value to them. In return, they can walk away and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I can do this thing. And yeah, we would love them to do it with us, but at the end of the day, I'm a big believer in karma. If we do the right thing for you and we do the right thing for every single person we meet with, it'll come back. It'll work itself out. It always does. So folks, if you're sitting at home and you're thinking, yeah, maybe I'll give these guys a call, and I've seen some of their commercials, and you know, you want to talk to us, we'd love to have you come and visit with us. And you know, it starts out by picking up the phone and just giving us a call at 833-856-1392. Of course, you know, when you come on in, the first 10 people that call that number will get a complimentary free roadmap, and we're going to provide that to you. You know, I say a lot about the CFAs, CFPs, but they're very important to provide an excellent program.
For sure. Well, Patrick, thank you so much. It's always a joy being with you. And to our viewers at home, thank you so much for watching. Again, this is your opportunity to get peace of mind. Are you on track for retirement to reach your specific individual personalized retirement goals? Let Patrick and his team link arms with you. They would love to serve you and help. Just pick up the phone and call that number on the bottom of your screen, 833-856-1392, to get your complimentary Memories and Milestones retirement roadmap. Thanks so much for watching. We love you, Wisconsin. We'll see you next week.